Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes. Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes. Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes.
All right, welcome again to Get Rich and Die Golf. And I have my mute on because I'm just rushing and trying to do the thing, but we're gonna get it going. Welcome everybody. What's up, Big Self?
What's good with the brothers? How everything going out in Cali?
Oh man, everything is good. We had a little drizzle, a little rain today and yesterday, but lightly, barely even colored the ground. Like I was saying when I was muted, being crazy, we got a good one today. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. HBCU golf, of course, very nuanced, but any programs, and it just doesn't happen to HBCUs. It happens to any programs. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things you need to do and take care of, and politics, and I think when we started talking about HBCU golf, what was that, 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, I've seen the enhancements. I've seen at least the notoriety, more people caring. Used to be a time like, how you guys gonna talk about HBCU golf? No one cares about HBCU golf. But in our golf community, it's a very, very important staple to get our kids educated and to get our kids playing on a better level. What say you, Big Sif?
No, it provides an opportunity, and for those who have matriculated into an HBCU, some I know, and some of the younger kids that are, especially at Livingstone now, have interactions with them, and it did my heart good to see a couple of those kids graduate on last week, and that tells the story in itself.
That's the win.
That's the win.
Graduation for the win, my friend. Graduation for the win, and get to play golf while you do it. So I don't think it's nothing bad about that. I think it's all positive. I think it's all good. I think it's vital.
No doubt.
If we want to be in better positions, I think HBCU golf is vital, especially in the golf space. I was sitting here looking at our girl, Amari Avery, playing in the NCAA Division I championship against Wake Forest. And, they did a great job of handing Stanford they lost and booting them out. But they got a handful now. They got a handful with Wake Forest. Amari's been playing okay, missed a few short putts, but I can look at the fatigue. That's a long couple of days.
What was the tip? The tip was what? Somebody had to go to the hospital for heat exhaustion.
Yeah, it was like 96 out there. It was like 96 out there yesterday.
That's a one-on-one. I mean,
yeah.
Both teams have to play in it, but I just didn't understand why they wore all black today.
Oh, I know. Maybe that's their, their home away jerseys. I don't know, but
all black.
I know they cooking.
Exactly.
They cooking because but people don't understand about the desert out here. it gets hotter in the afternoon.
Mm.
Like 2 p.m. is when it's like at its hottest. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., you know. But hey, I think they just needed rest, and they all went out this afternoon for the championship. So still got a few holes to play. They're turning 15, 16 right now. You know, anything can happen in match play. That's why it's a beautiful format. So we're wishing Amari luck. Of course, I'm wishing SC luck. I'm a big SC fan. Fight on. And we shall see. We shall see. PGA Championship. Major. Brooks Koepka. Live golfer. I'm just going to say, I don't mind. Okay. The same arguments the PGA had against Live, I have against the PGA right now. Or maybe the media. But I'm going to say the PGA and the media. I'm not letting them off the hook.
Right.
Weaponizing patriotism. I hated that. Degrading the talent. I hated that. I would have respected and got behind, hey, competition is going to ruin the money for us. Competition is going to steal away some of the shine. Buying the players off our tour and bringing them into free agency on their tour is going to ding our tour a little bit. It wouldn't ruin the tour. It's going to ding our tour. But the tactics of weaponizing patriotism and degrading players, I didn't like it in the beginning. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. And all that's been, to me, thrown out the window. Guy, if you can play golf, you can play golf. You've been playing golf since you was 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter the format. To me, I don't think it matters the format. So shout out to Brooks. I think he endeared himself to a lot of people on the Netflix special because he was kind of open with his feelings and thinking he wasn't going to play. He had crazy knee surgery. You know, he had some crazy injuries. I don't think that was reported on enough, but he had very serious injuries that he needed to rehab. But hey, it was still good TV. I don't know about the ratings. I think the ratings was down just a little bit, but that was going to be probably regardless post-COVID. I think it was high around 2020, 21. I can't remember, but hey, people were stuck in the house, so they was watching golf, a little more golf. People are outside now. They're playing golf, not watching golf. What else we got?
Just to piggyback on you about the PGA with Brooks, man, I thought it was, for me, you know, I was rolling over in the corner laughing and having a good time with it, just due to the fact that, like you said before, the PGA and some of the media guys, they've created a narrative about the guys who own the Live Tour. When just leave it alone. You know, just create competition. Maybe you found a way to bring it back, and there could have been some inner squad. I mean, whatever the deal may be, but you know, I thought it was a one up for you know, the Live Tour. Brooks Koepka, he was playing well in the last major, in the Masters.
Came in second.
So I mean, you know, this is inevitable, man. So what's next? What's the next major?
U.S. Open, L.A. baby, L.A. baby.
And he's a U.S. Open PGA type player, man. He gets it
Those
done.
are the two. Those are the two majors. Those are the two. Those are the two. So you know, watch out for him.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Watch out for him. Watch out for him. I'm not going to say. I mean, anyone can win, but watch out for him. I just think, and we don't speak for all minorities, but we feel a certain way when we see the tactics sometimes of the PGA reminding us of what they did to black folks.
No doubt.
And that's just keeping it 100.
No doubt.
So when I see and hear weaponizing patriotism and using excuses to degrade players, I was like, that's what they did to your uncle, Sif. That's what they did to Pete. That's what they did to, you know, a host of our loved ones and a host of our legends. That's what they did to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it brings back old scars and old memories. And so we can sympathize. We can want the PGA to be the best and be on top because we are pro-American golf, period. But we can also understand the tactics they use reminded us of the same shit they did to us.
It immediately reminded me and it's funny that you say that, but it immediately reminded me of what they quote called the welfare queen. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you get
Yep.
a woman, um, fat black woman with a lot of kids, and you say she's the problem. This is why economically we're on a down spiral, and you create that narrative, and you keep continue to pump that through media ways. People start to believe that.
Yep. And it's never been a time in America that it hasn't been more white people on welfare than black people. Not one year has it been more black people on welfare than white people.
Right.
But it's the narratives, and it's some of the things that are done for politics, power, and making people feel good. So to me, it just reminded me of some of that old school foolishness they did. You didn't need to. You're the best. The PGA Tour is the best. The PGA Tour is the needle.
Right.
Stop it. You said you repented. You said you're doing better. Diversity, inclusion. Then don't use the tactics on your own people. That means it's still in there somewhere. I'm just keeping it 100. Some of that shit is still in there. In the interweavings of the 6th floor and the executive suites, some of those tactics and some of that think is still in there because you just used it on your own people. And I'm going to leave it at that. What else is going on? Anything? No? Summer's coming. It's golf time. Great
Heading to
weather.
Myrtle Beach. We're heading to Myrtle Beach. We got a couple of, I don't know how many we ended up with. I know we were at 104 golfers from all around, getting ready to hit Myrtle Beach for Memorial Day weekend.
Nice.
Got some skin team. It's gonna be a good time. So looking forward to that. Hoping the weather kind of acts right. The forecast says it's ugly, but you never know. You know how the weather goes.
Come on, it can clear up. Big Sif, how's that Juneteenth in Miami? I mean, coming up with the Black Golf Alliance. What do we need to do to pump that up?
Yeah, I hadn't really spoken to any of the lead organizers, but I see that Roe and Otis and those guys are still pumping it, going full throttle. So usually, what they when they put their hands on something, it's guaranteed. And also, God bless the dead, man. We lost a good brother here on last week. He was actually on one of our podcasts.
Exactly.
Spoke about insurance. So Kenneth L. Muhammad. We lost him on last week. Big blow to the community.
Big blow. I saw that. Let's give him a round of applause. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. You did what you could while you was on this earth. We'll see you in another dimension. To keep it pushing, my friend. Keep it pushing. All right. I think that's all the little news. We had a question from Barbara Senior. Will they put Brooks on the Ryder team? No. They ain't putting them on no Ryder team. They'll toy with it, but they ain't putting them on a Ryder team. I don't think so. I don't think, unless he wins both opens. He ain't, and that's even a crazy ask. That's that voters tax. You got to win 3 majors to even be considered for the Ryder Cup. So that's that BS. But I doubt it. Hey, they control it. It's their thing. So they can do what they want. Just quit saying the best golfers are there. Just say the best PGA golfers on our tour are going. Don't say the best golfers in the world. Just say we have the best golfers on the PGA tour and they'll be playing in the Ryder Cup. The best golfers on our tour will be playing on the Ryder Cup. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying that? What's wrong with thinking that? What's wrong with being like, I don't want the competition. It's cutting into my pie. What's wrong with being honest? Everybody was like, just be honest. Just say you're taking the money. Well, be honest and say you don't want them to take that money.
Right.
I'm still going to back you. I just like honesty, but what can we do? All right, let's get to the topic at hand. I think the state of the HBCU topic, the state of the HBCU golf. We had them on, first start having a few of our beloved HBCU golf programs and their coaches on. And I've seen it grown since then. I've been very excited with the progress and the notoriety. Still a long ways to go, but I've just been thrilled and I've just been very excited. What say you guys before we bring on our guests?
I think it's interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to having the coaches on there, especially Mike Rice, being here in Florida and the interesting things and turn of events that we have going on with our wonderful governor here and wanting to take everything out of the HBCUs, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely excited about having this conversation today.
Yeah, it's a sad event, but it's a passing event. It's politics. You have to stay on top of it and don't let stuff slide. But he'll pass. He will pass, and other people will come in and probably undo all of his racist bullshit. And but it's sad that in 2023 we're still on these fake culture wars and this backhanded and it's all about votes. People just don't. It's all about votes. They know they can't get certain votes, so they just want these votes, and it makes certain people that don't really vote happy.
Redlining, man.
It just makes them happy. That mean spirit, that uninclusive spirit makes some folks in America happy. It's just facts. And that gets them to the polls. That they wouldn't normally. Sometimes hate is the only thing that gets certain people to the polls.
Right.
So guess what? I'm gonna dish out as much hate and as much bigotry as I can, because I'm not letting Americans off the hook. If it didn't work, he wouldn't do it. If it didn't bring out numbers, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. There's a segment in America that likes to hear that and feels that way, and that gives them the energy to come out and vote for him. So when we just say, oh, Ron DeSantis is this and he's that and he's that. No, it's the people that like to hear what Ron DeSantis says. It's horrible. And yes, those are the voters that like to hear that. So I don't, politicians do what's advantageous to them. If he's spewing that foolishness and banning books and banning HBCU funding and trying to take AP, African American Studies, out of high schools, that's because it's a huge segment in Florida that wants that to happen. And we can't let them off the hook, because those are the people that's funding and giving him energy. Shame on you people. Forget Ron DeSantis is one person. He would never do that if he couldn't get... Huh?
I said, wait a minute. What people now? We ain't voting for that.
Nah, but it's a big segment. Yeah, it's a segment there that wants it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Want me to name them? Some of them? Cubans. A lot of Cubans that like that bullshit. Just keep it 100. Some white folks like it, and there's a few black folks that like it. That's just keeping it 100.
Yeah.
Else he wouldn't do it. Who wants to do stuff that don't work and waste money? You do stuff that works, that gets you votes. So anyway, we're in a political show. So back to golf. Let's bring in some of our people. Who we got? Okay, we got one. I seen Mike popped on for a minute, but he popped off. But hopefully we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and get started with our topic. What say y'all? Y'all ready for the topic? I know I'm ready for the topic.
Oh yeah.
All right. Make it good.
Okay, welcome back from the intermission. We're gonna get to our topic. We got special guests, Coach Penny's on, I'm gonna call it a celebration because I'm excited about HBCU golf. I'm excited about the future of just our people in golf, period. And I'm gonna celebrate it. And we're gonna just have a little talk. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're gonna have a little talk. Let's gather our folks and put our expert in the star seat, not the hot seat, but the star seat. That's what we gonna do. Let's give a round of applause for Coach Penny. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so the name of the show, Coach Penny's a regular. He's just a beautiful human being. He's a beautiful he's a beautiful human being, and he's so gracious with his time. And the last time we had him on, he brought his AD and his assistant AD, and we learned so much about the whole system and how they were rebuilding and how they're doing their thing, and HBCUs in general. We're just glad to have him on because, you know, it's one thing for us to talk, but it's another thing to listen to folks that's in the trenches. You know what I mean? And I just always want to pay respect to that when someone is in the trenches, we should listen to them. Period. We're not in the trenches. So the topic is the state of HBCU golf. Coach Penny, what is the state of HBCU golf as you see it right now? The good, the bad, the ugly, the celebratory. What are you feeling now?
First of all, thank you for having me once again. I think, that was September of 21 when I got my chance to make my debut on the show. So it's good to be back.
That's right. That's right.
And for the most part, thank you for what you all are doing through your platform, using your voice to highlight the areas of golf that often and most times get overshadowed due to just the way the social norm is. And so appreciate your time and what you all are trying to do to bring light to minority golf, specifically Black golf, and highlighting not just within HBCUs, but like you mentioned earlier about Amari Avery playing on the national championship stage. And then I'm sorry, I'm pulling for Wake Forest, being that we share the same territory. And some of the young ladies practice on the same courses. We cross paths as we're practicing as well. But for the most part, to answer your question, I think the state of HBCU golf is in a great place. And that doesn't mean that there aren't issues. That doesn't mean that there aren't issues and challenges that we still face. But we acknowledge and we can celebrate where we have come and what is taking place and where HBCU golf is going as well. There are things that we are privy to that have not come out in stone, but it is going in the right direction. And when I think about the state of HBCU golf, even though some of us were on the opposite side of it, you just had a Howard University to demolish a field by 56 strokes, and it was done with all Black athletes on a tough golf course, Shoal Creek down in Alabama. And let's even take the time to even celebrate that. This was probably the most historic and culturally significant PGA works in the history of Black golf, because as the history of it is, in the 1990s, Shoal Creek still had not allowed Black members. Not that Black members didn't want to join, but they still had not allowed Black members to join as members, to the point where even Tiger Woods refused to play at Shoal Creek because of that. And so when you think about what just transpired 2 weeks ago, where you have, I want to say, over 300 athletes from HBCUs and minority institutions playing on such hallowed grounds, and you looked and you saw all these beautiful and handsome Black men and women playing golf, doing what they love to do on that golf course, at some point you just had to sit back and say, we have come a long way. And so, but the ugly of it is is we still got a lot of work to do. And if we sit here and say that we don't, or there are leaps and bounds being made, yes, it is, but we still got a lot of people to inform and how to continue to move the plight of HBCU golf. And I'm pretty sure all my colleagues would say the same thing. And I try not to speak for everyone, but specifically within our conference and within my context, we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. The work continues, but I think sometimes it's okay to celebrate what's going on and what's been done. I think we can chew gum and walk at the same time. I think some people want just to hear the bad. I think some people just want to hear the good. And it's always more nuanced than that. And I just totally believe if you have people like you, we've had Howard on, Fame you on, a host of others. We've seen your growth and we've seen the hard work you guys have put in, and it's not cool and it's not honest not to celebrate that. We know we have work to do. We started in a hole. It's not done, but we have to celebrate what's the work that's already been put in and how we're bringing in people and giving these, the most important thing I always say, giving these young men and women education and a degree, hopefully at the end. That's the true trophy. Getting these people educated and getting these people a little bit of scholarship money and let them golf and do the thing that they've been practicing and loving for so long. Trish, I'm gonna bring you in.
So thank you for coming back on, Charles. Coach Penny, thank you. I hope the team's had a great season. You had to, give us a status check on how the kids did, how they're doing, what is it looking like moving forward. Like I say, in this topic right here, we're talking about this, the status of, HBCU golf. What is it looking like? Why is it looking the way it's looking? Do you have any feedback or any thoughts in regards to that?
Well, I'll speak from my context too, mainly. So at Winston-Salem State, the state of HBCU golf for us is I have 5 and 6 wonderful golfers that help bring Winston-Salem into a new era of golf. When I took over at the time and I was checking the rankings, I actually have them pulled up right here in front of me. I was checking the rankings to see where we ranked. And last year or 21, when I took over, there were 205 Division II programs, and there's actually only 201 now. So we're actually losing golf programs, not just to HBCUs, but when I took over, we were 205, and this year we were blessed to see us move up 13 spots in the rankings to 192. So Winston-Salem, with the support of my athletic director and with others who are community partners, I was able to go and recruit some solid young men who just happen to play decent and good golf. And we've been able to be competitive, not as competitive as we want to, but when you start looking at it, they're all freshmen. So now the next 4 years, as long as they continue to get it out of the mud, they continue to grind and they continue to go out and play golf, not golf swing, we'll start to make some noise here in the next year because they'll mature. Well, it's my hope that they'll mature. But then the other piece of it is scholarships. We're non-revenue generating sport. And so I know a lot of schools will probably even chime in with this sentiment that not having your full allotted 3.6 scholarships in Division II and want to say Division I is 4.1, it's hard to go and get the golfers that you want to have at your university, especially when it comes to Black golfers, because it's such a small pool. It's hard to go and get the good talent so that way you can be competitive year in and year out because the money's not there. The flip side of that is when you see a Howard University who's been blessed to have a Steph Curry to back them, you see what dollars and scholarship dollars can do for your program. Not only did they win the PGA works. But this year I believe this was their first year in the NEC conference. They finished in second place in a predominantly white institution conference. And part of that is scholarship dollars. So I'm not sure where everybody is, but I know one of the biggest things that I'm looking to do in my next year of being golf coach at Winston-Salem State is to really pound the pavement for scholarship dollars. Because like Manny said, yeah, I want them to come play golf, but it's about giving a young man a chance to come and get a degree to advance their self in their career plight. Now, if they want to go to the PGA Tour, we're going to have some honest conversations and have to really reflect on what it takes to get to that level. But for the most part, it's about getting your degree and setting yourself up for sustainable success in the workplace after you're done playing competitive golf.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, you know, I'm going to piggyback on that too, because you brought up Howard. Money does help a lot, and money in the right hands makes a difference. And we can see the difference that money made in that program. And we've had Coach on, and he's a driven coach like you, and he had a vision, and he said, be damned to the naysayers and what his vision was. But he had a vision when we had him on probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he had his vision. He was just taking over, and people doubted his vision. Just keep it 100, because he said they thought he was too ambitious. And he was like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I believe, and be damned with anyone else. And you see the end results. But he had the dollars to help him back his vision. And not everyone's going to have those dollars. So that's why I say I know we need to celebrate the HBCU golf, because everyone has those visions. It's you know, most I'm sure most programs have things they can do, things they wish they could do, money they do have in hand, and money they wish they had in hand, and you have to make it work, you know. And you know, Seth, chime in.
Hey, Manny, real quick, in the lobby, do we have Mike in the lobby?
No, I would have brought him on.
Okay.
I'm searching every five minutes. Tell him to go. If he's trying, just tell him to go out and come back in. As soon as I see him, I'm bringing him.
All right.
Seth.
Hey, what's up, Charles? I hadn't seen you in a while. You know, grew that hair out, man.
I know.
Yeah, man.
Brush cut, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
You and out. Them ain't extensions, are it?
No, I ain't Jimmy Butler over here.
You gotta ask that these days, man. But Charles, question, man. You know, I've had an opportunity to chop it up, play with your guys, and be involved in your program. I guess my question is there a moral? Well, let me rephrase before I go into that piece. When you take a job at an HBCU, because that's what we're talking about, is there a meeting with administration in terms of what we want the program to look like? And so what I mean by that is there a more moral obligation to look Black, to make sure that we have our folk playing golf, or is there a conversation about being competitive, or is there a conversation about winning championships? And as hodgepodge as that may sound, at some places it can't be all three, due to, like you said, resources, due to talent. So I would think that from an administration standpoint, from the chancellor down to the AD, down to the athletic director, down to the coach, there has to be a conversation. What are we doing here? Is our responsibility to bring in people that look like us, or are we trying to win championships?
No, great questions, valid questions. I did sit down with my athletic director when I first was hired as golf coach. And I carried the sentiment that I wanted my golf program to look like and embody the overall university. We are a historically Black college, and I wanted to show up to tournaments with a team that did have some Black young men on the team. Now, would that make me competitive? I wouldn't know until they stepped foot on the golf course. But I do know, and just from conversations with my colleagues, what's up, Mike, that there are times where even being Black coaches in the HBCU, they have been told your goal is to win championships. And if that means you got to go and recruit non-Black golfers, then so be it. It's more about job security. I've been fortunate enough to not have to be in a position. I've been fortunate not to be in like a junior development program style or environment. My AD requires that we grow and that we be competitive and we find ways to get better. But I'm also in a place where she understands what my goals are about recruiting Black golfers. I have a Canadian on my team. I have a young man out of Reidsville, North Carolina, a young white male who's a graduate student in the PT department at Winston-Salem, who saw Winston-Salem for the resource that it is to help him in his career. And the guys mesh. But we had 3 Blacks, 2 whites. So we were more dominant, or a little bit more dominant on the Black side in terms of presence. But ultimately, I do know that there are some that look like the majority, and it's not a bad thing. Majority of the time, though, they're friendly. They understand the culture and never had any issues or have any run-ins with anything like that. But to answer your question of all 3, I know for sure that there are ADs that say you need to go out there and build a competitive team. Then the others don't look like they want to look because they just don't have the money to look like that.
Right.
Got it. Let me follow up on that. As far as the pressure of winning championships and to get job security, which that's just, it is a business for the coaches and the staff. They want to do good. Students want to get an education. Staff, administration, they want to have accolades and they want to win and they want to have some success. Is it a financial piece to the school for championships? Or is it an alumni piece for championships? Or is it just notoriety? What is the benefit of some of the HBCUs to win championships as far as financial stuff for the golf program, notoriety? What are the benefits of that? To compare, like when you have to balance winning championships or making the school look like what the school is. You know what I mean? What does that scale look like? And what does that scale look like?
In short, at Winston-Salem State, I need our football team to go and bust their tail in the fall.
That's the money.
Because when they're winning, more revenues coming in, more alumni are given, and it's easier for my athletic director to go and start helping the non-revenue sports. So in just that, in that one piece alone, I need our football program to be a well-oiled machine in the fall, so we reap the benefits in the spring and in the next year.
Got it. Coach Rice, welcome. Thank you, guys. Coach Smoot, it's always a pleasure. We're just blessed to have you guys to come on and share a little time. We know you're crazy busy. Just to piggyback on the questions, if you heard the questions, I will repeat the questions. How important is it to balance, like I said, that championship run and the pool of golfers you have and the money it takes to go out and recruit the pool of golfers you have? I know it's a delicate balancing act, and we just want to give the audience a full story, well, as much as possible, on what it is to run a program and how you guys make decisions.
Luke, you want to go first or you want me?
Go ahead. I think you should go from a Division I perspective. I think you should give us that insight first.
Okay. And I'll say this, speaking from FAMU, and I'm a FAMU alum. Obviously, I look different than everybody on this show. But the one thing I told my AD, and I've been through about 9 of them now. We got a new one. She's doing a great job. But the one thing I told her is, you can look at my roster. We probably have the most diverse roster in the country. And as long as I'm coaching here, this is what it's going to look like. I personally think sometimes the coaches, whether and I don't, again, I can't speak for other institutions, but I don't know if it's the ADs that are saying that or the administration saying that more than the coaches. And are the coaches trying to win? We're all trying to win. But depending on what is important to you, I think sometimes people put that winning ahead of what's best for the institution. What's best for our institution is for me to continue to recruit the way I do. Is it harder? Absolutely, 100. We don't have a big pool of black golfers out there. I mean, we're are we farther along than we were maybe a few years ago? Yeah, but we're way far from being where we need to be. But I also think that because people put the winning ahead of what might be best for their institution, maybe they're not out there looking hard enough either. And I say that there is a small pool and they are hard to find. But you can if you try.
Got it. Coach Smoot.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, brother? I'm just so happy I see you driving. I don't want you to get in no trouble and wreck for sure, but chime in on us if you can with how you run your program.
Well, I live in Alabama, so let's kind of put that out there first. So when I started, and Coach Rice knows this, when I first started this program, I couldn't get a black player to come play at Miles College. So I had to recruit what I could get to establish the program, to grow the program, and get it off the ground. And those players didn't look like us. And but a part of my personal platform here in Alabama, because I am in Alabama, I purposely recruit black and white, because my goal is to teach these young men, regardless of color, how do you socially deal with one another moving forward in life. That's huge for me. But like Coach Penny and we both got some of the same challenges when it comes to recruiting black players. Yeah, we want the best of the best too, but guess who we have to climb over? We got to climb over the FAMUs. We got to climb over the Howards. We got to climb over the Alabama States, the A&M. Everybody else is trying to recruit the same players. So that small pool of black players, everybody's trying to get those same kind of caliber players. And if your budgets don't meet that opportunity, allow you to have that ability to recruit, or you don't get the scholarships to recruit, you have to recruit what you can to keep the program viable. The other thing I think is, and when people ask me about particularly white players that are on my team, two things I say. One, you ain't telling Nick Saban about all them doggone black players you got on that football team, and y'all roo-roo, rah-rah, and everybody else on when it comes to winning championships at Alabama. Now reverse that and they stop winning, they're gonna have a problem. Right?
Okay.
We're trying to win. We can try to win two ways. We can either recruit right players, and that's all you recruit, but that's not every coach. That's not our intention. We want black players on our teams, and that's one of our that is one of our number one, because we are a historic college, right? But have a team that can school because we're accountable to the NCAA when we're not recruiting or having teams. Then what happens is, when we are in violation of NCAA, that affects football, that affects basketball, and then your team gets blamed for the downfall. You're in violation because you're not maintaining a team. And a lot of times I hear outside sources why we don't. I was saying the same thing as a Marine when I was 24 years in the Marine Corps, saying, where are the black players? Guess what? When I became a coach, I was still asking that same question. Where are the black players? We need alumni. We need alumni. If you know someone that's out there that has an ability, that's talented, it might be a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. So, I'm going to chime in because it's a myth out there. It's a myth that it's a big, giant floating pool of black golfers and coaches just don't want them. This is the attitudes, some of the attitudes we hear, that it's just a big, giant swell of black golfers. And I'm glad we have coaches that think alike. Is there a big pool of black golfers is just not being tapped into? Can we stop this foolishness now?
Excuse my French, but hell no.
Thank you.
And even to this point, and I think all three of us, I mean, ironically, these are two of the coaches that I speak to the most, to the point where if I can't do for a golfer that is maybe interested in coming to play for me at Winston, whether it be financial or whatever, I pick up the phone and I call Mike or I call Smooth and say, hey, I got a guy. I want him to come to Winston. It doesn't look like it's going to be a good fit. Hey, do you have room for him on your roster? Like, we do that, and I think we do a very good job of connecting with without having to feel like, nah, since I don't get this young man, I don't want anybody to have him and have that toxic relationship. We look to go and call the next school in the line because we want our black athletes to come play at our black institutions. And so, but the pool is small, and to piggyback what both Mike and Coach Smoot were saying, I had two black golfers who were top in their areas, one from Atlanta and one from North Carolina, were at the door at Winston-Salem State. As soon as they got an offer from Alabama State and North Carolina Central, that D2 got real small, and so they chose to go D1. So there went two golfers that I had, two black golfers that were going to be looking to come to Winston-Salem State in the fall, and they went to other black institutions. So they're there, but it's small.
Trish,
I'd like to chime in a little bit. Obviously, we're talking to two coaches. Like you say, we talk often together, so we know each other. Smooth and I just hung out at the PGA Championship this last week and had some great conversations. I say this, and this is one of the issues I have is, and Smooth and I have talked about it, is that the pool is small, no question about it. It's not a big pool. There's a lot going on that I think will enhance a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in golf that I think will help. It's just going to take time. It's not, I think there's really people, at the PGA Tour that care now, and at the PGA of America that care now, and the USGA that are doing things that I think are going to help in the future. It's just going to take time. The one thing that I hear often is kind of what they're talking about with the D2 one, is that the pool is small, but I still think that there are D2 talent that isn't being seen, that are kind of being left behind for the reason of trying to win.
Okay.
We lost him. He'll be back on. I'll look for him. So yeah, and that's was one of these. That's what this conversation was for. Because if you're not in the trenches like you guys, people come up with all kind of crazy ideas that, there's just a lot of black golfers left behind that's not playing and getting scholarships. And I've never met them. I've never met anyone that was like, man, I played golf and I couldn't get a scholarship. I've never heard of anybody like that. I don't know if you guys have heard of anybody like that. I just think people see pictures and figure like, well, if we see these pictures with all the white golfers, then it's got to be some black golfers left behind. I'm going to let Sif or Trish chime in on that.
So let's answer Jenny Bethune's question in the chat. So she asks, any suggestions on how to grow the pipeline of Black junior golfers. We got any suggestions, Coach? What y'all thinking?
The biggest piece is you got to start them when they're younger. There are many ways to skin this cat. I know for sure that I'll be doing some work with the first tee starting June 1 in the Central Carolinas of trying to help identify young Black and brown golfers, both male and female, to start getting them into the mode of tournament golf, getting them up to speed. So when they get to high school, they're not now being introduced to the game, but in high school, they're developing themselves and playing in junior tournaments that can help prepare them for competitive college golf. And so you got to start early. You got to identify these youth early. And there, like I said, I don't want to go down the hole with this because it's a very vast conversation, but that's one of the first things you can do is identifying talent and athleticism earlier and getting a club in their hand so that they can see that golf is not what they've perceived it or what somebody has told them what golf is.
So why don't we have a program that, like I say, we have the first tee, or if it's the YMCA or whoever it is, or the AJGA or whatever, do we not have a, sometimes like how you have an apprenticeship or something? Same thing with golf. We don't have anything like that to kind of lead them up to college?
Well, let me kind of chime in on that. I mean, I know we're talking about identifying. To Penny's point, that's one point. The thing is, I think we're talking about how do we go about identifying Black talent, whether it's male or female, Black or brown talent. We have organizations, we have Black youth programs that are currently out there. Like I think one out in California, 61. That's out in California. The part of the problem is that there's recruiting sites that most kids go out and put that information out. I think the biggest problem that we currently have in our community is that our parents don't know how to go about putting that information on, say, online, where we as coaches can see that information, where, when do you reach out to a college to get, whether your kid shoots 90 or 69, if you want your child to compete, there's probably a place out there, but we just have we have a problem within our own community. Mm-hmm. And I've been on several other like podcast or talking with, I'll just use playgolf.net, where I've talked to parents and they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And I think we have a current pipeline, but we have all these different organizations that are not feeding our HBCUs with the information to at least allow us to review and look and see if this young man or young girl is a candidate to play at the next level. We just got to find a better way to get that information. And the first tee programs, I'm doing the same thing. The Penny I'm a part of. Birmingham has just got a chapter, first tee chapter. While PGA Works was here in Birmingham, just got it started. I was a part of the executive committee. So I think the biggest thing is identifying from state to state the programs that are already currently in place, identify that talent pool, and give them a platform somewhere they can put that information out there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. And we've been saying that too, because Trish is always bringing up our guy that does the website. Yeah, and I don't know why it just, I'm going to leave that alone for now, but I'm going to go in hard on that, because I know if you can't touch and reach the people, especially online, we know there's not resources to fly all over the country and find talent. That's impossible. That's not realistic. But we have video. all of us on this show right now is in a different state, and we're talking and having a show.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tell me we can't talk to one another and get the information out to you guys if we want to, because we're doing it right now on the show from Alabama, California, North Carolina, and Florida. We're all everywhere, and we're having a live show in real time. So we need to get, and that's not on coaches. That's on all these organizations. That's on our Facebook groups. That's on our chats. We need to funnel a way to give people information so you guys can at least have the choice, and the students can have the choice to reach each and every one of you guys with some information so the choosing and the courting process can start. That's unacceptable. And in this day and age, with the technology we have, I still don't get that. I that's one thing I don't get. I've heard and talked, and this is show 74, and before that we all talked, and I still don't get why we don't have at least a video online presence with a pipeline directly to you guys. I don't get that.
Imagine this, right? We all went to different colleges, right? How many alumni are out there?
Yeah.
How many
millions?
How many alumni that play golf that see a young person at the golf course? Do they even take the time to approach and say, "Hey, are you looking to play college golf somewhere?" Hey, matter of fact, I'm an alumni of Winston-Salem.
Well,
how many alumni reaches out to you, Penny, about identifying the player?
So that's one of the things that I can't say doesn't happen. I get calls every week, just about every week, and that's no exaggeration. The other piece that I was going to talk to Manny's point is, I know for sure that I've been on two calls in the past 3 months. One in March that I was invited to by Ro Thompson, and then another gentleman by the name of Rennie Jarrell, who serves on the HV3 Foundation board. I was the first tee of Greater Charlotte. I was in a call about introducing myself to golfers that are within my area, so I can't necessarily speak to that it's not happening. And then even Chris Stapleton out in for Society 61, like Coach Smoot was talking about. He texts me and he's lighting my phone up about kids that are out there in California and things of that sort. And once again, one of those things, if it is happening, now I've got to be able to have the finances. But if I don't, all right, hey, one of the kids that I couldn't get here, guess what he did? He committed to Southern University because they are adding their men's golf program.
Nice.
And so it is happening to the scale that we wanted to happen. Probably not, but Smoot, WSSU golf, the people that play golf at WSSU, they call me all the time about golfers. It's just, hey, you got to send some money with these recommendations too, because I don't have the scholarship dollars to get
them. Right. That's true.
Or you get, because we the same, FAMU alum they know they got the next best golfer. And then you look it up, and they're not close to competing yet. And I think a lot is, again, there is a small pool, but it's educating them. I know we all talked about it earlier. Is getting them tournament golf ready. I had
here we go.
I had a coach just recently text me, said he played golf with a local kid that wants to come to FAMU. And, he shot, whatever it was, and it was lower. So I do a little research and I get back, and his average score in the tournament is a lot higher than what he just shot. And I'm like, look, I understand, but you got to play tournament golf. I can't base it off what he shot with you. I got to base it off what his, credentials are. So again, I don't know what the answer is to educating these people, but I will say this, and I don't know if anybody, I've been having issues with computers, but you got the MAC champ out there who is out there doing some great research to find a lot of kids.
True.
You got Steph Curry in the underrated, which is a lot of the MAC champ kids, but again, you're getting to see them again. So we're showcasing some of these kids. And what I was saying earlier before I got cut off with the D1, D2, and Jeff Champ and I've had conversations many times about this, to where he's obviously trying to find the best talent there is in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell him all the time that, look, we need to have the kids for the D2 too.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, and what Penny and Smoother, they're after the same kids I'm after, which normally the D1s are going to get them.
Yeah.
Now they find other ways, but we have other coaches out there that don't try to find another way. They're going to go ahead and just go with that kid that looks like me. I mean, let's just be frank, some of them. Because it's hard. It is. Look, there isn't a big pool. Eventually it'll change. I think it's going to get better. But you got to put the work in. I mean, you really do. You got to put the work in and find them. I will be honest, I've had a couple kids over the years that I've added to my roster that probably shouldn't be on my roster. But I know if I don't add them, they're going to quit playing golf. When they should be at another institution where they could play. But at least I know they're here. I know they're playing golf. They're getting an education. They're going to graduate. And look, they're going to be great teammates. So I agree that there's not. Smoot and I have had this conversation. And look, Smoot and these guys here, you know, their rosters look different than mine, no question. But I can say this, I know with Smoot makes sure his kids are educated on that university and what that university is about. I know Penny's still early, but those kids know what Miles College is and the history of Miles College in Birmingham before they leave there. So they're getting educated while they're there as well. As far as the education part, getting these kids to understand when to send stuff and what to send. I mean, we even get, you know, and it's crazy you get these, but we'll get emails where, of course, you can mass send out to coaches, right? But don't send an email with every coach's name like you just sent the same email to 1,000 coaches.
You didn't even BCC it and hide it.
Right. When they do that,
Right.
I'm not even looking at it now. So
and then the copy and paste, and they forget to change the university's name.
Right. I've even had, you know, they put they forget to change the coach's name. Like, you know, those are things that when you get those, it's like, look, I can't even, I can't even read it now. Like, you got this. But I asked this question to y'all. Why do parents they know what to do in football. They know what to do in baseball. They know what to do in basketball.
Preach.
So why don't they know what to do in golf?
I don't think they want to share. I think the ones that know want to keep it to themselves, and they done made it. And there are some that have made it and got their kids playing in some of these HBCUs. But then there's some that it's like, okay, we made it here, but we grinded on our own. And I feel like they want to just keep it to themselves.
That's interesting.
I think
if there's a piece that's like that.
Yeah, it's I'm on that football side. You know, both played it, coached it, and recruited it. There's similarities. There are a lot of parents that don't know, even on the other side. And what ends up happening is someone who knows eventually gives them game because the kid is pretty good, and they tell them you need to get in clearinghouse and you need to do this, that, and the third. So a lot of those kids, a lot of those parents don't know. On the football side and the basketball side, I'm a witness, a testament to that. So there's some similarities. Hey, Coach, how's Tyler doing?
he's doing well, but he is. You know, I got thrown some curveballs the first time that I've been here coaching. That I've actually been on the opposite side. I don't do a portal until this year. But Tyler's one of them that went in the portal. He's wanted to go closer to home, and I support what he did. I actually made a few calls for him as well. His situation a little different, but I had 3 of them at one time, which really, I'm looking at a young team that in 2 years that I think we could really compete at a high level. Now it's like starting over. That's what that portal's done.
Speaking about that, and I'll leave it alone. What do you guys think about the portal? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm in favor of it.
Well, this is what a portal will do. You don't have to recruit. You just go in the portal in your hand, especially if you got money. Like that's the big. Like, you know, you're just shopping, and look, all the work is done for you because I can look up all the stats with no problem. real easy. And I can just handpick who I want if I got enough money.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, and most of them ain't gonna come to the university.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
The one that's in the portal.
But this is the part that a lot of coaches, I don't know if they understand. And this is a new rule that came out, I believe, this year. If you take on a student athlete in the portal, he is yours until he graduates or leaves that university.
Even if he quits.
Even if he quits.
Oh, wow.
So you better do your homework on why he's transferring.
Division one only.
Because
we don't got that problem, Smoot.
We don't have that problem. You're right.
We ain't got that
you
problem.
don't have to worry about all that APR and all that stuff that Division One has to worry about. So we don't have that problem.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. And I'll say this, I know a university this year, a good friend of mine is coaching somewhere, who out of the portal alone he took over a program that was 200 and something in the country, went in the portal in 1 year, brought in players and got all the way down to 60 in 1 year.
Wow. Just
so
from the portal.
It can do that for a university, but I think it's going to hurt us more than it's going to help us, because I can see, you bring in a kid that's maybe a late bloomer, he gets better, and all of a sudden now he's looking for the mid majors or even the Power Fives.
You doing training for the Power Fives, or you doing training because you groom them and bring them in when they wasn't looking at him. He gets better under your tutelage, and then he's out.
Right.
It happens in the D2 as well.
Yeah.
The D2 might even stand if a kid has gotten to the point where he's thinking he's a D1 caliber type player, he'll go into the portal.
But I just talked to a coach today that's not at a Power 5 mid-major, because one of my guys in there, he's calling me about my guy. So we talked. He said he was between my guy and a guy from a D2 on which one he was going to bring. And they're a top 100 program. They're probably top 80.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Picking.
I had a question before we got away from it. So we were talking about that playcollege.net.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like get the folks in there, kind of make a resume for them, kind of get on paper, pretty it all up to where we can send it to the school. So if we have something like that, and if it's not exactly where y'all would want it to be, is it not a way to be able to capture everything that y'all actually need, have it to where it streamlines, and like to say, okay, we see it, we send it out, based on grades or based on, how they play or so on and so forth. Is there no way to streamline that, at least within our HBCU teams? Is that a conversation, or is it a thought, or?
I think that's a continued conversation, and I know I've had many conversations with Darren about that. How do we go about identifying these students? Because what you don't want, I think the resume needs to be simple, kept simplistic, to the point where you got, I don't know, Coach Rice, you can, or Coach Penny, y'all can chime in on this, where we want to see all your scores. Sometimes I see on resume these students pick and choose what they want to put. No, let us know the whole story, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to know half the story, because we gonna find out.
Mm-hmm.
We all talk in the coaching community at HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
So a simple resume is just keep it simple. Tell your story. Why you want to go to FAMU? Why you want to go to Winston-Salem or Miles College? And keep that simple. Then, kind of that way, when you send that resume, we gonna either look at it. We got about 15 to 30 seconds. When we take a look at that, then we moving on. Right. So if they just keep
you want the good, bad, and the ugly. You want the good, the bad, and the ugly. Go ahead. And put it all out there.
Yeah, because we're gonna talk to you. When we have conversation, we're gonna be able to pick you apart. We're gonna be able to pick you apart based on your intellect when it comes to what you know about golf. We're gonna be able to pick you apart when you when you start talking and conversating, what your golf knowledge is, how you carry yourself, all that's going to tell a story, you know. And then coaches, you know, we're gonna make our decisions based on what our gut feelings are about a player, you know.
Nice.
So just keep it simple.
But at least get it to you for the 15 minutes. I mean, for the 15 seconds, 30 seconds, in an organized, complete way. You know, just like any other resume, you know, you are applying for a job, folks. You are applying for a job. You want some scholarship money. Nothing's free.
One thing I'll say in terms of the application process is you never want to. I know Charles said that those guys copy paste, and coach says a lot of names on, et cetera, et cetera. You know, Dexter Manley wasn't too bright either, but he ended up being all pro for about 7 years. So, you may run into a cat that can golf his ball. He just might not be able to, like a man on the Beverly Hills, but he might not be a good cipher.
Hey, Sif. Now, Sif, I will tell you, I have 3 recruiting stages because I know my scholarship dollars are limited. That first wave, you got to have a 3.7 or higher. Why? Because there's a chancellor and provost scholarship that if I can get you early enough, you can apply and we can potentially get you some academic money. My second wave is where I go after the athlete who's a great golfer, who may have little struggles in the classroom, but still can keep it above a 2.7 or higher that can get you into school. And then my last one is where I go get that dog, right? Where they've been having some issues trying to get into school. They barely getting over, but if you put them on a golf course, they're going to think their way around. They're going to play some good golf. But I get what you're saying. Like, it ain't, typically you don't find too many golfers that way anyway. Most of the golfers we get, those guys are studs in the classroom as much as, they might be lazy, but they're studs in the classroom. Most of them.
Most.
Coach Mike, like, don't give him 100.
Look,
me and Bryson talked about that.
Look, you don't have the APR to worry about. See, we have that APR. APR gets you but 5. So if you bring in the Dexter Manley who ain't in school and got a 1.5, and then leave here not eligible, that'll get your ass fired.
That's gonna get you fired. That's gonna get you fired.
He might take you to the promised land.
We don't have an APR at Winston-Salem, but I tell you what, it is. We are just as competitive across the teams at Winston-Salem State to get the highest GPA team GPA. And when one of my GPAs came in, and I said, "Hey, bro, without you, we had a 3.7. What you doing?
Right,
you bringing us down.
You hurting us. I want that mug."
That's what I told.
And I'm big on that. I don't play about that. I don't play about academics.
So
how's Malachi doing, Coach Smoot?
Huh?
How's Malachi been doing? That's little nephew. How Malachi been doing?
Silky.
Yeah.
Oh, Malachi killed it.
That's good.
He killed it.
They don't have a choice with Smoot.
Yeah,
look, that's that military. You get no leeway.
That's that military. That's right. Pain. Left foot, right foot, aye, sir. Left foot, left foot, right foot, aye, sir.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yes,
Ain't
sir.
nothing wrong with it. Yes, sir.
I apologize to you guys about when I said about I am in favor of the portal, but I'm thinking golf. Now, as it relates to football, if Jalen Hurst or what's the kid that went to Ohio State, they don't get in the portal, they lose about $10 million.
No. I think for certain sports, no doubt, it's a benefit to these players. Right. With golf, especially, and it's going to hurt the smaller people more than it's going to hurt the big boys.
Yeah.
As the big boys can just, like I said, you can have late bloomers even in football. You're seeing them, where they go play for a mid-major, and next thing you know, they're at a Power 5 because somebody found out they're pretty good. Right. But at our level, I mean, I'm seeing that this is the first year. I mean, I lost 3. I went from thinking in 2 years, we're going to be Howard in 2 years, and now I've got to restart and go in the portal and try to find again, it ain't like there's a lot of black kids in there already. So I'm looking for black kids and in a portal of probably 3 or 4, and I got to try to grab all of them.
Hey,
Pray I
Coach,
get them to compete.
Coach Rice, let me ask you this, and I'll shut up. And this is, I guess, for all the coaches. With this portal deal, do you think any coaches tamper?
Yes. That one
No
is my
doubt.
question. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And the portal, and I will say I will benefit from the portal this year. But part of it is a player coming home. Player that I recruited before offered, they chose to go to another university, and now they saw that wasn't a good fit for them. So I'm benefiting. The portal does have its benefits. They're gonna come home and play. For me, when I kind of already said you shouldn't have gone there in the first place.
You were tampering.
No question. No doubt is happening. But I mean, you even, and I'll say this too about the portal, only because, again, for y'all that been to university, that first year is tough for everybody. Being away from home is hard. Now you got a portal where you got kids jumping in the portal that haven't even given the university a chance.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, you leave home thinking that you want to leave home, but you don't know what that really is like. But after that first year, you know how it works. The second year is easier. The third year, you don't even want to go home no more. It's hard to down to the university, right? I mean, but if you can't get past, I had one kid this year. He lasted a semester and never really gave it a chance. And I think that's going to happen often, where maybe you have a guy that doesn't give it a year. You know what? This place, I don't like it. I'm gonna try somewhere else. Well, you don't realize that it's no different. You still got to get acclimated to that place. Yeah. And so I think you're going to see a lot of that as well. The portal, it's full.
It's humongous.
It's full of golfers.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's 10 pages long of golf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Manny, it was 10 when I first started. Go ahead, Smoot.
No, I'm gonna throw y'all a different curveball. Because Penny I was trying to send him a player from my team that was wanting to pursue to be in the physical therapy, right? He wanted to start his own business. I called him. I said, hey, I got one of my players that may want to transfer. I'm not afraid to send players to other coaches. Rice has sent a player that wanted to go to FAMU to me that he needed to get out of Tallahassee, right? So what I caution a lot of these student athletes is, when you enter a portal, the only thing they're thinking about, I'm transferring. Guess what? You're not thinking about how much money you may find yourself back as a freshman or sophomore when you enter that portal, because all credits do not transfer.
All of them don't transfer.
Very true.
Right? They don't think about none of that. And so now you find yourself to spend all this money at the college that you're at, or the benefits that you get, and you go in the portal and you starting all over again.
And the other thing they don't think about as well is, if you go in the portal and nobody picks you up, what are you going to do now? Because I can tell you now, as soon as you told me you're going in the portal, I'm now shopping your money.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to make a decision later. I'm shopping the next day in the portal.
That's right.
Or hoping, look, FAMU's a place where a lot of kids want to come. I'm turning away kids that I probably would have taken. They went to other universities that would be freshmen, because I didn't have any money. Now I got money. If you don't catch on with somebody, I can't bring you back.
Yeah.
So next time a lot of them don't realize that. They could never play golf again. It could happen.
Yeah. So as they hit their transfer portal, the school is no longer required to have to honor their scholarship dollars.
Whoa. So be careful and make wise choices.
Yeah,
and it's hard for an 18-year-old. And I think it's hard for an 18-year-old to even make those kind of choices, I believe. I don't think my 18-year-olds, when they were 18, would make wise choices like that and think it all the way through. It's tough. But hey, grow up.
But they got people in there. they got people making in their ear too. So like, I'm not going to, there's that
That's
side
facts.
of that, but then they have other people. So like, and I know we're talking about golf, but I saw a football player who had a Pop Warner coach who never played past maybe even the bench in high school, in the ear. So just like in other sports, you got people in the ear, man, dude, you can play golf so much better. They don't know what they've got there. They're not valuing your talent or your skill, when it could be that we actually see them in the heat of the qualifying for tournaments, the practices, in the weight room, in the study hall, that stuff that coaches acknowledge. And so you got people in their ears as well. It's just interesting to see all the different facets and the aspects of why players get into the transfer portal. But I will say this: when I took over at Winston, the portal had 10 golfers in it. That was September.
Wow.
At the end of September, there were over 374 golfers in the portal.
All right.
That's Division 1, 2, and whoever else is in there.
And 3.
How many of them was black? How many of them was black, Penny?
You could pick the ones that because there's no pictures of the athletes. You have to go and look at their names and go and Google them to see if they're minority. But more than likely, like Smoot said, probably about 3.
About 6. About 6.
They done combed it.
3 in FAMU. You got 3 in FAMU. You got 1 from Arkansas Pine Bluff that's graduated. That's 4.
Wow.
So
I don't know. Then you got Louisville. I guess you consider him black.
Mixon's
in there. Oh man,
he's in there. That's 5. That's 5. I call right off top of my head.
So audience.
Wow.
Well, no. Well, look at audience. Understand, they can count the black golfers in the portal. So don't tell me it's just a limited pool of people that's not getting picked. They can count them on one hand. Let's be real and let's try to bring more golfers into the fold instead of acting like it's this big giant warehouse full of black golfers that's not getting picked up to get scholarships. We got to stop it. We got to be honest, and that's when we can help.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say this, and I know I excuse me for totally losing this thought earlier about the state of golf. For the first time in the CIAA history, you had 3 historically black colleges make it to Division II regionals. Nice. Beyond the automatic qualifier. So you had Fayetteville State that won the CIAA, so they automatically qualified. But then Livingstone College and then Virginia Union University, they all finished in the top 10 of our region at the end of the regular season. So they got to go and play at regionals, and so they didn't get to play at the PGA Works because that is a feat within itself. And I do know that a school does not look like the university, but I will say, like, the same issue that we had, the kids that we were recruiting the same kids, and we couldn't land any of them.
Got it. All right, we ain't gonna hold y'all. It's been an hour and a half. We just thank you guys for coming on and giving us the real. We do these conversations so we can find ways to help you guys and help the pipeline and be more educated on the conversations we have and the decisions we make. That's why we have conversations like that. So we don't guess. So we'll know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Trish, what kind of shirt you got on? I'm sorry.
Oh, so this is my little iGolfer Vets. So it's a organization down here in Florida, in Tampa. And we support vets, get them to play golf. We're trying to get them to play golf. It helps with the PTSD and, just stress or, depression or whichever. And so we get out and play every Tuesdays. And we actually have a tournament coming up June 6th. So it's a really great organization.
Good stuff.
You can never do enough for the vets. That's for sure. Again, you guys. Thank you. 1,000 times. Any last words? What's going on? Any news? Any fundraisers? Are we in summer break? We about to start chilling for a minute.
Like
Seth,
I
you
said,
gonna come do the marathon?
Not if it's 10 degrees.
That thing hurt.
Oh, well,
We have the Black Golf Alliance is doing a fundraiser down
Oh yeah,
in
the Juneteenth.
my man Campbell's place,
Martin
Mark,
down.
South Beach. Yeah, that'll be in Juneteenth. So I'm trying to get down there to be a part of that. But the fundraiser they're doing, the money will go to FAMU Golf, which is huge. One of the things I'm trying to do here is we're having a drive. We're gonna have a driving range on campus. They're putting the nets up
Beautiful.
probably within the next week or two.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
so we're gonna have that. But the big is I'm trying to find a way to build a facility for the team, something like a warehouse where we can open it up. Because look, Florida's hot, and trying to stand out there in that heat with no shade, that's a long day. But so trying to get something built. So hoping that some of those funds is going to go towards that, along with trying to get. I know you were talking about the first tee, Penny, or actually Smoot was. The first tee has just started up in Tallahassee, so we may partner with them a little bit too, as well, to try to help raise funds to build that or build something or however we do it. But just trying
Nice.
to bring the facilities, because we will continue to lose these young kids if it's a facility versus facility place. We can't compete with the Power
Hey,
Five.
hey,
That makes sense.
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I get.
I was gonna say, Coach. I ran into Cameron Riley and Mahindra this weekend past at a tournament in Orlando, and they wanted me to say, "What's up, Coach Preston?"
They are. I know they're going to be at Deer. What is it?
Up in Chicago.
Yeah, up in Chicago, the APJ event. We got a young freshman that's going to be up there. So I told Mahindra to make sure he looked out for him.
That's
Nice.
what's up.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
for
Coach
sure.
Smoot,
Yeah.
give us some last words, brother. We just appreciate you. I know you was on your way home and you jumped on the call. Anything happening? Any fundraisers? Any news? Give us your last words.
Well, my last words is when my niece just graduated from high school, so that's what I was doing.
That's right.
I just got here, so I'd like to congratulate her. But more importantly, as the president of the Black College Golf Coaches Association and the head golf coaches at Miles College, we're doing some fabulous things with BCGCA. We've gotten some partnerships and some grant money that's Farmers Insurance has given us that we will be giving back out to our institutions. We also partner with the APGA and giving out some scholarships. There's more to come with that. In the next 2 years, I'm hoping that we'll have with the membership and the body of the membership as we all work together. This is not one person's vision. It's a team. It has to be a team vision. And that's my goal as the president. That's just that we work as a team to elevate not only our players, but to elevate our coaches. Our coaches need to be paid more.
Facts.
I mean, it's fact. They need to be paid more. And that's something I'm going to push. In the best way that I know how with the coaches and their guidance as what they've been giving me charge to do as the president of the organization is to find ways to get our coaches paid more, and also finding more Black coaches. We need to find more Black coaches to put in some of our institutions as well. So that's my 2 cents for the night. It's always a pleasure, and the fact that you all think enough to have me on to talk about issues and to be on with these coaches. They're my brothers in arms. We all are striving for excellence. We all are striving. Me and Penny talk all the time about I can be good. I can have a great program, but if he's not being good, that don't make me good. I want him to be just as good as me, and then we can be competitive, and we can showcase our skills. And whoever come out on the better end of the stick, I'm glad. Right? So that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Let's compete. We gonna beat each other's heads, and at in end, he's a young coach. He knows that I'm here for him 110-fold, and like I keep telling him, he's gonna get. I was there. I know he's gonna get where he wants to be, but we got to all support each other through whatever our journey is and what we're trying to do as coaches for our players and our institutions.
All right, there we go. We're gonna leave it at that, Mr. President. We're gonna leave it at that. And on that note, again, thank you guys.
Thank
It's
you.
9:30 out there where you at. So I'm gonna have to let y'all go. I don't want to keep you a second longer. As you know, you're always welcome. As you see at the bottom of our ticker, the HBCUgolf.org, we keep it there. When you not on and when you on, that ticker, like we promised you guys, will stay there, and hopefully some of our audience will continue to give. And we out. Thank you. Thank you. Great show.
And I'd love to have a conversation with you, Sifford, one day as well, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank y'all for having us.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks.
Coach. Thanks, Coach Rice. Thanks,
All right,
thanks, Coach Penny.
Thank you.
Bye, coaches.